14 days, $170,000. No plan B. On the edge of the North Atlantic, a crew prepares to gamble everything on a fish that hides beneath the sand. The flounder master of disguise can vanish, even from sonar. You can look straight at it and never see it. Yet each one, if found, can be worth hundreds of dollars. Across the frozen docks, dozens of boats line up, engines rumbling, their crews glancing sideways like rival card players about to draw. Whoever sails faster wins. Whoever delays goes home empty-handed. On deck, the metallic clang of anchor chains cuts through the mist. Fuel drums are sealed. Nets stacked like weapons await the signal. Every sound is a countdown to risk. You have 14 days to win or lose everything to the ocean. The voiceover stops. Silence. Just the sound of waves colliding with steel. Would you risk your home for a fish that hides beneath the sand? The ocean gives. The ocean takes. The first engine roars, and the $170,000 gamble begins. Before any voyage begins, every detail matters. A single mistake, a loose knot, a torn mesh can cost thousands in hours. On Mike's ship, nothing is left unchecked. He's been fishing for 25 years. To his crew, he's half legend, half ghost, a man who listens more to the wind than to people. His eyes are pale, hardened by endless winters. Fuel, he mutters. Check. Sonar. Online. Net tension. Perfect. Each word, like a heartbeat before battle. The deck is a battlefield. The nets, weapons. The men soldiers who trust rope more than luck. The cold cuts through gloves, but no one slows down. Mike repeats his rule, almost a prayer. The sea doesn't give second chances. The crew answers with silence, tightening bolts, stacking ice boxes, layer by layer. When the sonar lights up for the first time, the moment feels electric. Mike shouts, "Heat! Heat!" The command echoes across the deck. The men spring into motion. The heavy bottom nets plunge into the sea, vanishing into darkness. All eyes fix on the winch. The seconds stretch. Will it rise full or empty? Metal grinds, water spills, and then a flash of silver. The first halibut bursts through the surface, flat, wide, and alive. Cheers break out. One fish becomes 10, then hundreds. Nearly 2 tons of halibut in the first few hours, over $40,000. It's the kind of start that makes sailors believe the sea has chosen them. The largest are set aside for export to Japan, the smaller ones packed for the domestic market. The deck glows under the first light of dawn, filled with laughter and steam. For a moment, hope feels infinite. Hands thaw by the engine's warmth, and the men smile without words. But as Mike stares at the horizon, his expression doesn't change. He knows the ocean's moods. It gives beautifully, right before it takes it all back. The camera pans to the waves. Calm, deceptive, whispering the same warning he's heard all his life. Day 1 ends in triumph, but the sea never forgets a debt. And somewhere beneath the sand, the flounders are already moving again. By the third day, the sea had turned silent. The sonar screen, once alive with signals, now glowed empty blue. No flounder, no movement, just the slow hum of the engines burning through money. Nothing, Mike muttered. Nothing again. His voice was flat, but behind it was fear. Every empty hour meant fuel lost, wages slipping, hope fading. On the horizon, rival boats circled like predators. Their nets rose full and heavy, silver spilling onto decks. Mike's men watched in silence, faces tight with exhaustion and envy. By day 6, the hold was still half empty. 8 days left. The crew had started counting in reverse, not by time, but by debt. At the navigation table, Mike studied the charts, his hands trembling slightly from fatigue. He had one choice: move to deeper waters and risk fuel loss, or change everything. "The sea's changing," he said quietly. "Maybe we should too." He ordered the ship toward the shallows, a place few dared to fish. The nets were too large, the ground too rough, but there was no other option. Day 14, the last dawn of the voyage. The sky hung low and colorless, the sea flat as glass. Every man on deck moved slower, now not from laziness, but from weeks of sleepless strain. Mike stood by the rail, eyes bloodshot, voice cracked from cold air. "One more set," he said. "Let's see if the sea still remembers us." The net plunged into silence. Minutes stretched into hours. The winch groaned, metal against metal, pulling from a depth where fortune and failure touched the same edge. Then a glimmer. Fish scales flashing beneath the surface like coins tossed by the sea itself. A cry broke the stillness. "We've got them!" The deck exploded with noise. Laughter, shouting, relief. 8.6 tons of halibut, enough to break even, maybe even profit. The ocean had given this time. As the last fish hit the ice, Mike exhaled a shaky breath. 2 weeks at sea, $170,000 risked, and $40,000 earned. Not wealth, just survival. He stared at the horizon gray, endless, and said softly, "Every trip is a gamble. This time we won. Next time, maybe not." His words vanished into the wind like prayer smoke. They switched from machines to hands. Hand fishing, a method older than the boats themselves. A test of patience, precision, and nerve. Each angler gripped a simple rod, eyes locked on the line, cutting through the cold green water. They waited not minutes, but hours, listening to the pulse of the sea through their fingers. To catch a flounder, you must feel what you cannot see. The trick is knowing when a vibration is just the tide and when it's life beneath the sand. One false move and the fish vanishes. One right touch and you feel the faintest pull like a heartbeat. That's the moment you strike. Hours passed. The sea stayed quiet. Then, a sudden jerk. The first flounder broke the surface, flashing pale against the gray sky. The crew erupted in relief. Then another, and another. Each one lifted slowly, reverently proof that skill still beats luck. The hold began to fill again, one fish at a time. But numbers didn't lie. They still needed 3 more tons to survive the voyage. Time was bleeding away. Mike looked at the fuel gauge, almost empty. "Last chance," he said. "We're heading north remote waters. No one goes there." The men exchanged glances, silent but determined. The gamble was back on. Hours later, the ship docked under pale morning light. Forklifts hummed. Workers in gloves and masks offloaded the frozen crates. The sea's reward was leaving their hands already. Inside the processing plant, everything was white, bright, cold, sterile. The chaos of the ocean replaced by a ritual of precision. Each flounder was inspected under harsh lights. Skilled hands traced along the flesh, searching for perfection, not a bruise, not a single imperfection. The ocean's wildness, now measured by millimeters. Sharp knives danced. Heat, heat. The same word that echoed on deck now whispered beneath the hum of conveyor belts. Steel met flesh in movements too clean, too graceful to seem human. perfect fillets slid across the line ivory-colored, boneless, smooth as silk. They gleamed like polished pearls under fluorescent light. Then came the final ritual, the IQF freezing chamber, a blizzard of man-made frost. In seconds, sub-zero winds locked the flavor, the memory, the struggle sealing life inside ice. In less than 1 hour after leaving the ocean, the halibut had become something else, not a creature, but a commodity. Wrapped in vacuum-sealed plastic, labeled in gold letters, Japan, United States, Europe. Forklifts loaded the boxes into refrigerated trucks. The same fish that nearly sank them was now bound for candlelit tables and 5-star menus half a world away. The chef, in a crisp white coat, lifts a fillet with delicate tongs. He slices it thin, translucent, folds it like silk onto a porcelain plate. A drizzle of butter, a grain of sea salt, a twist of lemon. Steam rises the final breath of the ocean before it disappears into luxury. Guests watch in silence, forks poised. A single bite, soft, sweet, perfect. They smile, toast their glasses, unaware that every flavor came from risk, exhaustion, and the gamble of survival. The same sea that nearly took lives now delights them. That's the paradox beauty, born from struggle, comfort carved from danger. But the question lingers, one that money can't wash away. When luxury meets survival, who truly pays the price? Because if the ocean keeps giving without rest, one day it may have nothing left to give. The sea can feed us, but only if we learn when to stop taking. Mike said it best before leaving the dock. We don't own the sea. We borrow it one trip at a time. A truth too simple and too easily forgotten. Night falls again over the harbor. The lights of the factory fade. The waves whisper the same eternal rhythm. Give and take. Give and take. For now, the gamble is over. But as long as men chase fortune beneath these waters, the next story is already waiting to begin. If you want to keep sailing through these dangerous and beautiful journeys where courage meets the unknown, subscribe to Now Discover and stay with us as we follow the sea wherever it leads.